All right. Today, we're going to tackle a massive question, one that's at the very heart of our country's future, and really, the planet's future. And it's this: what does development truly mean?
I mean, really think about that for a second. If building up our present completely wrecks the world for our future, can we honestly call that progress? Now, this isn't just some deep thought to ponder. This is a critical concept for your board exams, and getting this right can pretty much guarantee you a high-scoring answer. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the old, broken model of growth at any cost. Then we'll see the insane price we're paying for it. After that, we'll jump into our legal rights and some amazing real-world solutions. We'll define what we're actually aiming for, and then, the best part, I'm going to give you the exact framework for that perfect 6-mark answer. To figure out where we need to go, we first have to understand the road we've been on. You see, for decades, the mantra was just grow. That's it. This old way of thinking treated the environment like a bank account with no limit. It only focused on its source function, what we could take from it, like wood, water, minerals, and completely ignored the consequences.
The old argument was basically this: hey, we're a developing country. We need to get people out of poverty. And the only way to do that is with fast industrial growth. The environment? That's a problem for tomorrow. We'll get rich first, and then we'll use that money to clean up the mess later. Sound familiar?
This logic assumed the environment's ability to absorb all our waste, what we call its sink function, was infinite. It was like a magical trash can that would never get full. The idea was that pollution was just a necessary, temporary sacrifice for growth. The big promise? Once we were wealthy, we could just pay to fix everything. But, well, it's just not that simple. And here is the absolute crucial point. That old logic is totally, fundamentally flawed. It's a dangerous path, and it doesn't lead to a cleaner future. It leads to a disaster. So let's break down exactly why this grow first idea is such a bad one. First off, a lot of the damage can't be reversed. You can't just throw money at an extinct species and bring it back. Second, this whole idea ignores the planet's carrying capacity. There's a limit to how much pollution it can handle before things start to break down. For a country with a population as huge as India's, hitting that limit is a very real danger. Third, it's basically leaving a giant mess for future generations. And finally, it's just not fair. The poorest communities almost always get hit the hardest by pollution, but see very few of the rewards. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We're already living with the consequences. One of the scariest examples is our groundwater crisis. We're pumping out water for industry and farming so fast that we're draining this critical resource, putting our entire water security at risk. And it's not just the water. Another huge problem is the overuse of chemical pesticides. Sure, they might give you a bigger crop in the short term, but they poison our soil, our water, and our food, creating massive health problems down the road. These are the real hidden costs of that clean up later idea. Okay, so if the old way is so clearly broken, what are we supposed to do about it? Well, the good news is a major shift has already started, and it's backed up by some powerful legal actions. It all begins with a fundamental right that you have as a citizen. Now this, right here, is a game changer you absolutely need to know for your exam. The Supreme Court of India made a landmark ruling. They said that the right to life in Article 21 doesn't just mean the right to not die. It includes the right to pollution-free air and water. That makes a healthy environment your fundamental constitutional right. The Delhi CNG case is a perfect example of this right in action. Starting way back in 1998, the Supreme Court ordered all of Delhi's public transport to ditch diesel and switch to cleaner CNG. And you know what? It worked. Air pollution dropped significantly. But the case also shows us that this is an ongoing battle, because the recent explosion of private diesel cars has started to reverse that progress. The fight is never really over. And of course, these problems don't stop at our borders. Issues like climate change prove we're all connected. One country can't solve it alone. I mean, if India cuts its emissions but other countries don't, we all still suffer the consequences. This stuff requires teamwork on a global scale. But it's not all just about laws and big international meetings. The really exciting part is that there are real practical solutions already happening on the ground, proving that a better, more sustainable way is actually possible. A fantastic example is organic farming. It's pretty simple, really. Instead of using artificial chemical fertilizers and pesticides, it works with nature. It uses things like compost to make soil healthy and even uses good insects to fight off the bad ones. It's about being a partner with the ecosystem, not fighting against it.
And hey, if you think this is just some small-time idea for a few farms, you have to look at Sikkim. The entire state made the incredibly bold move to go 100% organic. They banned chemical fertilizers and pesticides completely. This is proof that sustainable agriculture isn't just a fantasy. It can be done on a massive scale. And change also bubbles up from the ground level. All across India, local communities are coming up with their own brilliant, sustainable ideas. A really great example is the alternate public distribution system in Zaharabad, Telangana, where local groups built their own system for fair and sustainable food distribution. Amazing stuff.
So, we've looked at the problem, and we've seen some inspiring solutions. But what's the end goal here? What are we actually working towards? For your exam, you need to be able to define this crystal clear.
Okay, this is the money definition for your exam. Sustainable development is a way of progressing that meets our needs today without messing things up for future generations so they can't meet their needs. See? It's not about stopping development. It's about being smarter and more responsible about how we do it. And listen, you can't have sustainable development without its essential partner, equity. Equity is just a word for fairness. It means the bad stuff, like pollution, shouldn't all be dumped on poor communities. And the good stuff, like a clean environment, should be for everyone. It's about justice for people living today and for the generations that will come after us. All right, this is the moment you've been waiting for. We have all the pieces of the puzzle. Now, let's put them together into a powerful, structured answer that is going to get you top marks. Here is your 6-step formula for success. 1. Start with an intro. Contrast the old growth-first model with the new need for a sustainable one. 2. Talk about the problems of that old model, the irreversible damage, the injustice. 3. Now present the solution. Clearly define sustainable development. 4. Mention the important role of institutions, especially the Supreme Court and Article 21. 5. Back it up with real-world examples. Talk about the Delhi CNG case or Sikkim going organic. And 6. Wrap it up with a strong conclusion. Emphasize that this is a team effort. Follow this structure and you're golden. And that last point is so important. Making this happen isn't just a job for the government. It takes all of us. It's about the choices we make as individuals, how companies act, the new ideas from farmers, and the work of community groups. It's a massive, collective effort. And there you have it, the whole idea of sustainable development with equity, all broken down and structured for your success. If you've got this concept down, then your 6 marks are absolutely confirmed in your Telangana board exams. You've got this. Good luck.